Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
And we are off and running, a Tuesday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you from, you know it by now, Hurricane Jointon Creek. We're here every Tuesday. Great menu, wonderful TVs, just a fun hangout place right on the water. Boy, when it's not raining like it is here in Duval County, they open up everything. It's a fun place. The great menu will tell you all about all the stuff happening here at Hurricane Jointon Creek. Terry Norvelle, Trenton Torsia. Hope to hear from Patrick Young a little bit later on the show. We got a lot to cover, including a bunch of baseball. We've got an NBA firing that I went, whoa, I'm not a big NBA guy, but this happened. The Knicks just fired Tom Thibodeau. They said, hey, man, get to the finals or you're out.
I know.
How about that? Just fired Tom Thibodeau. And I want to tell Jaguar fans, they've announced now the Jaguars mandatory minicamp comes up next week. And if you want to go to it, it is Wednesday, June 11th. The first, obviously, this year, Jaguars mandatory minicamp, so everybody will be out there. Got to be out there. That word mandatory means they've settled that between the Players Association and the owners. They said, this one you got to be. This one, at least act like we're a team. Now, Jaguars mandatory minicamp next week, next Wednesday, June 11th. Gates will open at 8 p.m. 8 a.m. It's a morning, 8:50 to 10:40. 8:50 to 10:40 is the workout. You can park in lot P and J. And you got to kind of secure your ticket. I don't think they're not selling tickets, but they're going to let only a couple thousand probably to it. So call the Jaguars 633-2000. 633-2000. Find out how you can go ahead and secure your spot. Jaguars' first mandatory mini camp, and I know people are excited, but all the outlets have been talking about a workout today, I guess. And Travis Hunter had an interception, and I haven't seen it, but every description. Every other interception ever in the history of any level of football is down here, and his is good for him. You're supposed to do that, but
wait till the day he has an interception and a touchdown.
How about that? We talked about that. We talked about how ironic will that be in games?
Or a game.
I mean, there's been a few that have done it. Obviously a traditional ball handler can catch a pass and run a ball in, but I mean. A non-traditional offensive or defensive guy, a Deion Sanders or Charles Woodson or a guy like that. It's happened before, but it's neat. It is neat. You and I know Deion. We're old enough to remember the great Deion Sanders. Run a punt back, run a kickoff back, pick a pass off in the same game, take it back, or maybe catch a pass. Remember they ran him at wide receiver? So it's kind of neat.
You go a step further with Deion that he scored a touchdown on a Sunday and hit a home run in a World Series on a Sunday night. Nobody's ever done that.
Oh, he was something.
That's crazy.
He was something. So a little bit of football to get in. It's kind of a non-football season. But yeah, going back to the NBA real quick. Tom Thibodeau, they just played a game. They went to conference finals, right? Damn you losing those conference finals.
No, I know. And, there's a lot of mixed feelings about that. And I've just spent a minute on it. But he had two 50-win seasons back-to-back. And then they haven't done that since the 90s.
Yeah.
So here's a guy that's taken you further than you've been in a long time. Now, the book on him is he wears his guys out.
Is that right?
So his starters play the majority of the minutes, especially when you get in the postseason, because he doesn't trust his bench, and then they're flat worn out.
Gotcha.
By the time you get to, hey, we're playing to get to the finals.
But
old school.
I heard he's a little hard ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But how about the Knicks? They haven't won a title since Willis Reed in 72, 73. I don't think they've won one since Willis Reed. They've gotten there here and there. The Ewing years were good, and Starks and those guys. So they had Jordan. But you look at the Knicks. How ironic! Tom Thibodeau gets fired the year they end up knocking off their nemesis, Boston.
Right.
But then Indiana was better. And I think OKC's better than Indiana, and OKC's probably going to win this thing. But Indiana was, I thought, just slightly better than the Knicks. I don't know if you fire the coach, you get a little bit better players.
Well, but the team was in disarray before Tibbs showed up.
Yeah.
And he went to the playoffs 4 out of 5 years. It's like, what more do you want from an organization? I get you want championships and all that. But the Knicks do what the Knicks do. And some of their personnel decisions have been serious head scratchers.
NBA Finals, by the way, if you're not aware, start on Thursday. They take a couple days off, and then
a couple days.
We
like a week.
Yeah, we went over it. Casey and I went over it. It's like Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday.
You can't even get in the groove for it,
Not at all. Hey, while we're talking a little basketball, we're going to transition into all this college baseball and another off-the-charts softball game last night. Let me tell you, if you've got a basketball player in your life looking for a summer camp to have something to do, number one, but B, enhance your young person's basketball skills, no matter what level. Coach Jim Martin over at Providence does a super job. As accomplished the basketball coaches we've had in this area, one of the best. He's done it a long time. He has owned and operated during the summer Jacksonville Basketball Academy, multiple weeks, 9 weeks. They just got started. You can jump in and grab a week anytime, multiple weeks if you want. It goes all the way through August 4th. Ball handling, passing, shooting, dribbling, teamwork, and understanding the game. Also, basketball is one of those games, man. If you can be a quarter of a step ahead of the ball and the opponent, man, that's
anticipation.
Guys that know how to play basketball. It's an edge. It really is. It's a fun camp of multiple camps with great high-level instruction, no matter what level your basketball player's at. Maybe they're trying to go out for their junior varsity team, maybe their junior high team, middle school, I guess they call it now. Maybe their high school, they made the team, they want to make the team, or they want to take their game to the college level. Coach Martin has produced almost 50, right around 50 college players. Jacksonville Basketball Academy. Find out everything about it by visiting, Google them on JacksonvilleBasketballAcademy.com. JacksonvilleBasketballAcademy.com. Softball last night, Oklahoma almost did it again. They've got when you're really good, you always say, man, the softball gods. Well, when you're really good, I think you bring the softball gods. That was incredible again. 2 out, 2 strike, all but dead. Oklahoma about to lose to Texas Tech, and the great pitcher, Kennedy, was on the mound. 2 out, 2 strikes, 1 on. Damn it, the Oklahoma girl who I don't think she was one of these 20 home run girls. I think she was about 4. Little lefty turns on one, hits it out of the park. And it wasn't a walk-off, it was a tie. And then Texas Tech came back and scrapped and won on a sac fly. Where do you start? I mean, it took a miracle by Texas Tech to get the 4-time champion out of the tournament.
There are so many walk-off wins in women's.
It's unbelievable. I feel like I'm partly responsible. College softball is now going off the chain.
It is,
and I don't mean to cut you off, but Major League Baseball bought and is now backing the professional league. I don't know if you heard about that last week. MLB, that is a big deal, I think. This is a sport, more people that watch it fall in love with it. I've been promoting women's softball, fast pitch softball at the college level. It's really all we have for at least 10 years. I fell in love with the game. It's a great game. It's going to be really interesting to track where this professional league goes with MLB backing.
Well, first of all, you've got enough funding to kind of make it. It's got a really tall flat on its face.
Yeah, they're not rubbing nickels together, which is the worst thing you can do with a league.
Correct. Incidentally, Canada, the Texas Tech phenom, $1 million NIL deal.
Good for him.
Think about that, $1 million NIL deal.
Yeah, and I saw online the last couple of days about that. What you always see the last couple of years from the anti guys. Be it college football, college basketball, college baseball, college softball. Oh, look at Texas Tech. They're going to go buy a title. Well, yeah, that's what happens in pro sports. You don't think the Dallas Cowboys. You don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't think the Yankees. You don't think that. Well, that's the Dodgers. That's what, the Chicago Bulls, added players around. That's what happens in pro sports. You just got to hammer it through your head, fan out there that is so stubborn. It's college professional sports. Yes, you try and buy titles. That's what you do.
Yeah, and by the way, you don't have a salary cap, so you can just spend as much money.
Not right. Yeah, until soon.
Well, we'll see. But
so we've got Texas Tech and Texas softball final series starts tomorrow. Right, best 2 out of 3. Yeah, best 2 out of 3. With that, let's transition. We now have times, locations, and everything for college baseball. The super regionals, obviously, they took shape through last night, but we didn't know.
Late last night.
Yeah, and then even this morning, half the day was gone, and nobody, the NCAA had not officially matched up with ESPN times. We've got all that. Let me back up, though. One story we tracked yesterday afternoon, and I tracked it during the evening, was Florida State baseball. Boy, Florida State, no, they didn't play yesterday, but they had a very meaningful game that they were following. Oregon State at home against Southern Cal. If Oregon State won last night's game, Florida State would have to go to Corvallis. 2,000, what did we say?
2,300 miles.
2,300-mile trip for FSU. If somehow USC could have beaten Oregon State last night, USC would have come to Tallahassee. They would have traveled 2,200 miles from LA.
Yeah.
Oregon State won going away. They blew them out. So Florida State, you can't win it unless you're in it. But that's about as far a trip as you can make.
Yeah.
Florida State will go to Corvallis. And that's a good baseball program.
Yeah.
Good baseball.
You're going from the southeast to the northwest.
Yeah.
So you're kind of shooting straight up.
For people that don't know, Oregon State's won 3 national titles and in the last 15, 20 years have been in the mix for more. They're a power. Now,
it's not an easy out.
No, it's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, that's a nasty travel trip, but you're in it, man. And and I want you to talk about Florida State. You were over in Tallahassee. You saw them up close and personal. The Noles, they kind of brought it on themselves. They got the number 9 national seed. Getting the first 8 is kind of first advantageous. Because,
100%.
yeah. But they did not, because Florida State faltered a little bit toward the end of the regular season. They got into the conference tournament. North Carolina knocked them out. Who's playing good. Florida State, I thought they were going to hold on, and when the national seeds got handed out, they were going to get a 4 or 5. But they kind of lost a few games, and that's bitten them now. That's why they're not hosting.
I know, and I don't agree with them being at 9 because the full body of work,
Yeah.
they were in the top 5 all season.
Most of the year, they really were.
So, really, the last couple weeks, maybe
Yeah.
to let up a little bit and try to get other people some work, right? Like you need pitching depth when you get into the postseason. But it is what it is, and you've got to deal with it.
You saw them up close twice. Oh yeah, did you see two games in Tallahassee?
Well, I saw 3.
Yeah, 3
of
total.
the 4 that they played.
Overview of Florida State. Looks like they found it again. They look like they had a pep. They should. They look like they had a pep in their step, and the big boy, the big lefty's swinging it, and Williams is swinging it, and Lodis is Lodis, and damn, Jamie Arnold, he's everything all advertised. Maybe one of one, the lefty. Talk about what you saw from Florida State.
Well, and Lodis didn't have a great
No, he didn't.
weekend.
No, he didn't.
So
That's scary.
without him in the lineup, and he was struggling with the off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
And I think the book on him is if you fall behind him and he sits dead red, you're a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But if you get ahead and mix it up, he just was chasing a little bit, maybe anxious. I'll tell you one thing about Tallahassee. I played there as an opponent back in the day.
Yeah, sure.
That is a short porch and
Yeah.
right, and a lot of they've got that middle backside approach as a right-handed hitter.
Absolutely. And they try to compensate with the fence, but it's so short. Your ball's going to go out like that. They're not,
Not unless you hit it on line.
I mean, and they've got the chain link fence above it, but that's just begging for a double off of it.
That's what you're getting.
Yeah.
And
But you got off. Give me some overview. Give everybody an overview. You saw Florida State in person a couple times.
Well, I think Florida State can swing it for sure, and up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a power program, but you get through the first 6 or 7 hitters, and then you've got dead outs. Everybody in the lineup, put it in play. They're tough, scrappy outs.
Yeah.
They played good defense, but the key, because I talked to a lot of the fans, Florida State fan, is if you get to our bullpen, we're in trouble.
Yes. That's
and
what
their starters all went deep.
Arnold's Arnold. Mendez had a good night, I guess. The other lefty, but Yeah. But once you get away from that's the knock. You get away from those guys. Now you're playing best 2 out of 3, so those FSU can ride those guys.
Oh yeah, I mean,
ride those guys.
They got to win twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Mendez, incidentally, is an Ole Miss transfer for those who don't know that.
Yeah.
So there's already some bad blood because you got kind of Ole Miss Mississippi State storyline.
But if FSU goes out, and they're pretty obviously. I don't know the Oregon State baseball team. I'll learn them, but I don't know them. We know where they're ranked. They were nationally ranked. If FSU goes to Corvallis and takes 2 out of 3 to get to Omaha, I mean you deserve that. You deserve the hell out of that. You wonder would they? I don't know the schedule. I could find it. If FSU was to go out there, particularly if it takes them 3 games and they were to win it, would they just stop off in Omaha? You probably pack it for 2 weeks. Like, why would you come all the way back and go back across to the middle of the continent?
Well, these guys that's too much on the body.
That is a lot. That is a lot. You wouldn't you think they may just stop off in Omaha?
Yeah.
They may have their travel department may be working overtime right now, contingency plans. I told you we were going to go over the times and days how it worked. Necessarily assigned until today.
And the other point we talked about with Florida State is when do you head west?
Yeah. I would if my travel people could get it squared away, I would take off this evening. It's Tuesday evening. I would bank on once we get up in the air, we can calm the plane down, right? Hey, let's turn the lights out, right? And I would kind of fly during the night to get out there. Now you got the time change and a little bit of jet lag, but then you've got Wednesday to kind of shake the jet lag off, right? Thursday, yeah, but I mean Thursday you would like to get to the ballpark and have a full-fledged practice, full BP, full bullpen mound, get out to the mound, take some ground balls, take some fly balls, and then Friday play. I think you almost would have to go unless you go extremely early tomorrow, Wednesday morning.
But if you go then,
you're burning Wednesday, though. Aren't you burning Wednesday if you go?
100%.
Yeah.
It's going to be, by the time you get there, you're going to be tired. FSU, get on that charter tonight, get there, rest up, get work in.
Yeah.
And
the big boy.
I actually think they stand a pretty good chance.
Yeah. Okay, we got to get to it though. Again, the time only just recently came out 3 hours ago. We knew everybody was in it last night, but they hadn't assigned it. Okay, here's the way it works. We've got 16 teams left. There are 8 super regionals scattered about. The 8 winners will meet in Omaha. Everything starts for super regionals Friday. Half the field gets started Friday. Saturday, the other half gets going, but it's everybody too. Saturday, all 8 will play. Because the Friday guys play Saturday. The guys, so here's what we got. 4 games kick things off coming up this Friday. You will have a noon game in Chapel Hill. North Carolina will host Arizona. That's a nice little trip for Arizona.
There is.
Coming all the opposite way. No pass. So Arizona and North Carolina will kick off the Super Regional play noon in Chapel Hill. Okay, that will then throw us to what I'm calling the most innocuous team in the tournament. 3 o'clock on Friday, Miami Hurricane fan. You're still alive if you don't know that. The Hurricanes won last night in a tough place to play. Miami, I didn't see them hardly all weekend. They're kind of innocuous, even on squeeze play. All they did was eke in, they got in, and they won it. Miami, 3 o'clock on Friday at Louisville. Louisville will host, and Miami, so that's an ACC matchup.
Well, incidentally, of all the teams in the tournament, those 2 teams are under 40 wins.
How about that? Miami, after winning 2 or 3 postseason games already, they're 34-25. That tells you they almost didn't get in. I mean, JD Arteaga and Miami, they need this. They need this bad. If Miami had missed this tournament, I'm not so sure he didn't get a walking slip. I'm not so sure they say, hey, we gave you the job a couple of years ago. You were a pitching coach. We probably shouldn't have. Hey, we're going to part ways. But Miami is alive.
They pitched it pretty well this weekend.
Yeah. So Miami, Louisville, all ACC Super Regional. That also Friday, 3 o'clock first pitch. The third game Friday is Florida State. Noel fans, your game has been set. Florida State, Friday, 6 o'clock, and these are Eastern times. 6 o'clock Eastern, Florida State on the road in Corvallis, Oregon. Oregon State Oregon State 45-13. And remember, Oregon State is a vagabond. They're independent. Yeah. Oregon State and Washington State did not make it into the Big 12 or the Big 10. They're flying around independent. They had trouble scheduling Oregon State. I think they're the team that only played like 19 home games.
Well, one of the reasons is the travel. The other reason is they're pretty darn good.
Yeah. So, again, Florida State, your game, Seminole fan, is set. Friday, Super Regional begins for Florida State, 6 o'clock Eastern. Florida State at Oregon State. So that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So one more game on Friday will be the night game in Auburn. Auburn having a nice year at 41-18. Auburn will host Coastal Carolina in a Super Regional. That will be Friday at 9 o'clock. Obviously, Auburn that'll be 8 o'clock local. So, but still, Auburn gets the late game. Yeah. Coastal, very surprising. Coastal closed out their region by 1-0 shutout with ECU. I would have never in a million years thought that game would have been 1-0.
Especially the last game.
Yeah. When they first got together, they played 18-7.
Yeah.
And it was 1-0. So that is Friday getting the Super Regional started. Now, are you ready for Saturday, Trent? Coming up this Saturday. If you love college baseball, you better settle in. So the other 4 games that didn't start, half the field starts on Friday. The other half starts on Saturday, but the Friday field comes back. So we've got all 8 games.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
All 8 games. So we'll go through them real quick here. This is Saturday, and I'm going to go through time-wise, but you'll hear 4 new games. Louisville, Miami will play Saturday also, 11 o'clock. That could be elimination game. You with me?
Yep. Somebody's
going to lose.
Yes.
At noon, 1 hour later on Saturday, North Carolina and Arizona will play their second game. That could be an elimination game. And if you notice, every team will visitor first, home second. At 1 o'clock, Murray State at Duke. That's their opener. That's Saturday at 1 o'clock. One of the darlings, Murray State, is taking on Duke. So that's 1 o'clock Saturday. That's that Super Regional's first game. At 2 o'clock, another first game on Saturday. West Virginia is at LSU. So West Virginia goes to Baton Rouge. LSU fan, you open up Saturday at 2. Saturday at 3, a possible other elimination game. Auburn will take on Coastal Carolina, game 2 on Saturday. Tennessee and Arkansas. We'll get back to this in a minute, but Tennessee, Arkansas face each other in Fayetteville. That's a 5 o'clock first pitch, first game. That's Saturday. Texas, San Antonio, the second darling, right? Murray State and Texas, San Antonio, the 2 darlings.
Off Texas.
Yeah, how about that? So 7 o'clock Saturday, UTSA, Texas, San Antonio, will go out to Los Angeles. UCLA will host. That will be their first game on Saturday. And then Florida State, your second game, no matter what happens, game 1. Florida State, game 2 in your Super Regional comes up Saturday at 9 o'clock. Now, that's 6 out there, and that had to kind of be there. You know, you needed to use those 3 hours. They couldn't play at a 12 o'clock game. It'd be 9 out in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
But you'll take that if you're Florida State because it's later in the day.
Yeah. So Oregon State, Florida State, Saturday, 9 o'clock. So the Noles will definitely play 6 o'clock Friday. They will also play on 9 o'clock on Saturday. How about that day? Is that enough games for you?
Yeah, I like it.
Is that enough for you? And I mean, they're popping them 1 hour apart. Bam, 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 bam.
It's funny how they do that too, but it gives you. Yeah, put it this way: I'll watch plenty of baseball on Saturday.
Absolutely, we're going to stretch this segment a little bit longer. I want to go back to Tennessee, Arkansas. Tennessee can only blame themselves because they had a couple little, you know, they had a couple little.
With a couple series losses late in the season.
Yeah. And one of them, their final regular season, Arkansas took 2 or 3 from Tennessee in Fayetteville as well. But Tennessee, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I think Tennessee, Arkansas could easily be 2 of the best teams out here, and they're playing each other. You can't blame Arkansas. They've had a consistent high year. Tennessee got a little loose a couple periods in the season. So, but that's a tough one. That's either one of those guys could win this. Wouldn't you say? That's a tough Super Regional.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about this for like 7 years or whatever now.
Yeah.
When Arky does not have a national championship,
It's got to.
When is it time for them? I don't know. We say it every year, and then something happens. But
I mean, it was Norm DeBryan. Remember him? Was there forever. DeBryan. He was there, and he couldn't get one in. He took good teams out there. And then Van Horn comes over, from Nebraska, does great things. Van Horn's been there so long now, you almost forget Norm DeBryan. And Van Horn's had the same career. Gets there, but can't win it. I think they're as good as anybody.
Still got a lot of work to do to get there.
I know. That's tough, man.
That's a heck of a series right there.
That is really, really tough right there. But again, I had a couple buddies of mine that are Vol fans. They're complaining about this. And, man, how did we draw Arkansas? That's way too, man, that's crazy. We're not hosting, and I said, you kind of scuffled a little bit down the stretch. They did.
They might be doing it to Vitella.
Yeah. He's a disciple of Van Horn. He came off that staff. You know that?
I did not.
Yeah,
know that.
he came off that staff. He's got that.
Well,
that's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Arkansas is going to be a dogfight. I tell you what, Trent, let's take our first break, man. We got a lot more baseball to get into, some softball, Major League Baseball, all kinds of stuff going on. Caglione, I think that's early evening. Caglione gets his first Major League at-bat.
Good for him. About time, right?
We'll talk about that. I feel like we put him there, too. We started talking about that a long time ago and said, man, we were tracking him and saying,
how much of a heater do you have to be on in the minor leagues?
And the Royals need power. We'll talk about them, but they need power. They're not score a bunch of runs. Nice pitching staff, so we'll talk about that as we go. Also, try to remind me when we come back. There's a really neat video I saw. It's speaking of Florida State, it's the inside kind of a pan video of renovated Doak Campbell, because it's basically done. We're a few months away from college football season, and we'll try to get that played. Maybe Casey, even on the way back, we could play that to give everybody a look at the inside of Doak Campbell Stadium, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming, from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143-2579.
There you have it. Good look as we welcome you back. This is inside newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. Good shot all the way around. And the actual debut, Trenton Torsia, will be on Saturday. The FSU will open up their college football season. We welcome you back to Hurricane Joint Creek here in Mandarin, in the heart of Mandarin. Trenton Torsia, Terry Norvelle. Basically done, you can tell. For their what do you call that, punching things out or whatever. Punch list. The punch list. Basically done. Debuting, new Doak Campbell Stadium will debut when the Alabama Crimson Tide roll in. I don't know how that's going to work because you got to believe Alabama under year 2 of their new coach. They weren't real happy about 9-3 this past year, you know.
You never know. But that I did see that from the outside.
Yeah,
that's enormous.
It is.
It takes up like
Only thing I disagree with, or not disagree, or disappointed with, and I want to file this under. It's easy to spend other people's money. I get that. It's easy. Or it's easy to do that. Yep. When they panned around, you could see, and if you know Doak Campbell, it looks like they got some lower boxes. You know, most of your boxes are up here and there's a bunch. But did you see when they panned that one sideline, looked to be some lower as a pan? I'll show you, like right in this area right here is all new, and all those boxes down low weren't there. And so I've been there enough, and I can see a lot of newness. Disappointing that I still see bench seating. And, you know, our world, your modern world of sports stadiums now, you got to get away from the bench seating there. Gainesville's going through it. I mean, Florida Field's got quite a few chair backs, but those the old west and east stands in Gainesville are bench seating. And I would have thought, even if it was just a section, you would have tried to at least, give me 10,000 new chair backs
while we're doing
it. Yeah. Because, the day of bench seating outdoors, and you just can't do that. The fan pays too much money. The experience needs to be – it's hard to have a great experience. You're sitting on a bench from the old days. That's why.
There's your lines. Two lines.
Yeah.
It reminds me of growing up doing the games in the Orange Bowl.
Perfect example, the old Orange Bowl. I mean, the old Orange Bowl would be so antiquated. It was before it got knocked down. But, yeah, exciting times over in Tallahassee with and Florida State. I've been banging on – man, the brand has disappeared. Florida State, not that this baseball run could solve all the last year and a half where the brand is gone underneath. You never see FSU. You never hear anybody talking FSU. But this baseball run, if Florida State could get out in Omaha again, second year in a row, at least the FSU brand will be around into the summer. I mean, do you feel like I do? And I've been banging this drum. I have never seen one of our brands in this area just go underground like FSU the last 2 years, across the board, all sports.
Well, I mean, you did it too.
Yeah, but I mean, I said around here, Florida State. When the Jaguars stink, people still bitch and moan.
Yeah.
When the Gators go 4-8, they don't